people listening, or the amount of friends of the people listening right now that like desperately could use $15 to $300 is like very real. And I know right now someone's like, oh yeah, but gas and eBay fees. I'm like, cool. 15 to 197 is like a real win for a lot of people. And it is the thrill of the hunt. And
what's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Cards. In this video, I wanted to take a second to go over my Gary V PC. And while I don't have a ton of stuff, the things I do have a huge meaning and connection to me. And the stories that came from them are excellent. So let's dive in. Gary's a pretty polarizing figure. I know he gets a lot of hate for numerous reasons. There are people out there that associate Gary with the rise and fall of sports cards that we saw during the pandemic boom, and the same with NFTs. Some people say Gary is one of the faces of hustle culture, which a lot of people look down upon, even though I'm personally all about it. But when you really dive into Gary's message, he not only changes perspective, but changes lives. I first discovered Gary's content coincidentally around the same time I got back into the hobby, around like 2018. At that time, although it wasn't correlated to Gary's message just quite yet, I didn't understand that at least, I was at my LCS buying the boxes of junk, getting the stuff I wanted out of there, getting the fun cards, and then learning how to sell the stuff I didn't want. And I didn't do that because that's what Gary was saying to do. It's because I wanted to do that, but it just kind of happened at the same time that Gary was really talking about sports cards. But in the process of listening to his business content and his personal perspective content and sports card content, I stumbled onto Gary's trash talk videos. And the more I watch these, the more I understand the overall vibe and message that Gary was trying to get out to the viewers. I then started looking at what I was doing within the hobby and some other collectibles here and there, and the fun that I was actually having, keeping the stuff I wanted, flipping the stuff I didn't want. And I started really leaning back into the hobby and other things that I used to really have fun with. At that point in my life, there's a few things that I had kind of pushed aside due to different reasons. And fast forward to now, I wouldn't be on your screen right now with all this stuff behind me if it wasn't for listening to Gary. And we'll talk about more of that throughout this video. But my connection with Gary and the impact that he's had on my life through his content, I had to get collectibles to represent that, right? Although a few of these came from unlikely and awesome situations. Let's first start with a card. 2019 Allen & Ginter mini frame auto. This is actually from a baseball set. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Allen & Ginter, it's a mini framed auto, which is just a variation of the base card, although I don't think the base cards had autos in this set. Could be wrong on that though. This card is not numbered, so I'm not exactly sure what the print run on these are, although I do think there are some mini framed autos in this set that are numbered. I bought that card a few years back at an incredibly low price. And while I know that this card is now worth a whole lot more than what I paid for a few years ago, I have zero plans to sell it. This auto card represents so much to me, and my connection with Gary's message goes a whole lot further than what this money for this card, if I sold it, would bring me. But wait, there's more. Gary V Mug Life shirt.
how do you like my Mug Life t-shirt? Do you reckon? Pretty good.
So these shirts are pretty hard to find. As you can see from the embroidered tag, they are numbered to 500, and the first part of the numbers are hand numbered. And here's the story behind this one. I initially missed out on this first run of shirts. Time goes by, and all of a sudden I find myself listening to the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze podcast. Rest in peace to that show. I loved tuning in every single day. And both hosts of that show, Andrew and Cage, have both been on this channel, which you can check out my interview with them in the archives. But Andrew had one of these shirts because he used to work for Gary back in the day, and they were doing a giveaway on the podcast. Now, I rarely win anything, but somehow I won this shirt, and I was more than delighted when it arrived to me in the mail. Talk about a great mail day. But not only does this shirt connect me with one of my favorite podcasts, again, rest in peace, Lucas, Tigers, Bronze podcast, and that time that I enjoyed listening to them, but we've come full circle. This ties me back to watching those trash talk videos that I originally started watching from Gary, and where he coined the term Mug Life.
Mug Life out here.
And the final piece in my Gary V PC is 2022 V Friends card. For those of you unfamiliar, this is a universe that Gary is building. It originally started as NFTs, but he's building out that franchise now into physical products. This card is part of a TCG game. It's similar to Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! And they have characters based off of those NFTs on cards. And I believe there's also some V Friends that may be exclusive to the cards and the toys. Could be wrong on that. If you know that answer, just leave a comment below and correct me on that. And while I love the idea and the concept, I personally didn't see myself seeking out really any of these cards. Yet again, an opportunity arose. Gary and the V-Friends team were doing a giveaway. And an interesting way to do it, they were giving away one card to one person per state within the United States.
All right, we are giving away all of these V-Friends graded, flip it, graded. Oh, by the way, in the new CGC cases, which are red, we are giving away all of these to all 50 states. There's many. All 50 states are going to get these graded V-Friends Series 2 Compete and Collect cards. We're going to give away 50 of them today on Threads and Twitter. Good luck. Hope you get it in the mail. Hope you enjoy it.
And for the state of Missouri, I somehow won. Not only that, I went the extra mile, and I believe in the video that Gary posted, I found my exact card that I won sitting on his desk. How cool is that? Not to mention on the back of the card, it is slabbed in a CGC slab that says personally owned by Gary V. So I'm sure there's a lot of you that think these collectibles are cool and you like the stories behind them. And I'm sure there's some of you out there that think I'm just brainwashed and pandering to an influencer. But let's just cut to the chase. Here's the deal. When I discovered Gary's content, I was in a point in my life personally when I needed a huge reset in many ways. And Gary's message was just that. Again, I wouldn't be on this screen right here talking to you today if it wasn't for Gary and his advice of, do you want to make content and talk about something that you like? Just start. If you're passionate about something, talk about it and don't worry about what anybody else thinks. If it wasn't for Gary, I wouldn't have started those podcasts that I've done. If it wasn't for Gary's message, I wouldn't have started a business.
Same people who are complaining about, what about your fuel, are the ones that are literally driving to work for a $12 an hour job.
Or just going out to their friends.
Well, I don't even want to talk about their $4 Rolling Rock.
And really, at the end of the day, it's all about mindset. The mindset to change yourself for the better, and that varies between each individual, and the mindset of really leaning into what you're passionate about and what you really want to do with your life, and just saying, you know, who cares what anybody else says, thinks, or does, or what the comments on the videos say, or what the comments on the social media posts say. Who cares?
Buying a $15 cocktail, and complaining about your boss and your job, that's fine. But driving around and spending that same $15 on fuel all day, hustling from 7 a.m. to 12 on a Saturday to make 300 bucks, that you gotta leave a fucking comment? Okay, Johnny Pants 63, I feel you.
So what do you think of today's video, the collectibles I've obtained from Gary and the stories behind them? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And when you're done leaving that comment, make sure to check out below as well all of the links in the show notes for all the ways you can help show your support for my content. Links to my eBay store, Patreon, podcast, and much more. If today's video brought you some value, hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and spread the word. Tell a friend, tell anybody in the hobby, no matter what they're collecting, tell them about this channel. Thanks to each and every one of you for watching today. If you dig what Gary V stands for, give me a fist bump. And if you're anti-Gary V and anti-changing your life for the better, well, but either way, click the videos on the screen for more great content in the archives of this channel, and I'll see you there.